So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show, the show where we talk about all things that are important in the world of barbecue. From big-name interviews with competitors on the barbecue circuit, grill manufacturers and pit makers, to advice on cooking brisket and ribs. You'll find it all right here on the Barbecue Central Show. Your host, Greg Rempe, is a backyard barbecue and grilling fanatic and loves to talk about his passion, which many of us share together. You can learn more about barbecue and grilling by visiting the website, thebbqcentral.com. Now, let's get in the smoke. Here's your program host, Greg Rempe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Barbecue Central Radio Networks proudly presents the really big Barbecue Central Show. It is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. Broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Mayor Frank Jackson, I believe, proclaimed it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of the North Coast. Or, I'm sorry, the barbecue capital of the North Coast, earlier today. Welcome aboard. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you here on your Tuesday evening fun outdoor live fire barbecue and grilling show. We do it each and every Tuesday. We've been doing it each and every Tuesday now for, going on 3+ years right now. So very, very excited to be here and a great show lined up for you. I don't think I'm coming across very well according to my level meters here. So hold on. Let me do something real quick. Stand by. Check 1 2. All right, I think that's a little bit better, I guess. Here we go. All right, so in case you're wondering what's happening on the show tonight, more than happy to let you in on the secret, let you in on the what's happening. First of all, before I do that, 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com are the ways to get in touch with the show. Wow. What is going on with this thing? Hold on one second. Jesus. Yellow. I think we got doesn't seem to sound any better to me at all. Jeez Louise, what is going on here today? Oh, man. The best day for Mike. I don't know. Does everything sound all right? I don't know. Here we go, folks. Sorry for the technical difficulty, running into all sorts of trouble, and I don't know if it's the microphone. Better not be, man. This thing was a young ton. Or if it's my cable. Anyway. Hopefully I sound good on your end. I don't sound very good to myself, but as long as I sound good to you, that's all that matters. Here's what's happening on the show here tonight. 2 segments coming up here in about 11 minutes, 10 minutes from now, maybe 9 minutes from now. We're going to be joined by Craig Sherry. Craig is a guy that I've been actually looking to have on the phone. Well, we'll have him on the phone. But he's somebody that I've been looking to have on the show for roughly like 5 years, I think it's been, when I started first doing this show via podcast. He was one of the guys that I was looking to get on the show, like right off the bat. And just was never ever, first time with the lips too, never able to hook up with him. And finally, we've been able to lock him down. It just so happens that a couple weeks ago, Craig was taking part in that Houston Livestock and World Championship of Rodeo. And within that, there is a huge barbecue competition, 400-plus teams. And Craig came out on top of that one. So we're going to talk to him first segment about what the competition was like, who sanctions it. I mean, I've heard about it, but it's one that I guess, the prototypical teams that are traveling KCBS circles don't usually make their way out to get on. So just wanted to see what he thought of the talent pool up there and what kind of an event it is. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of people that join this event or that are walking around it or they're seeing the various things that are going on, within this event. So great perspective from him as a competition barbecuer to see what that event is like. And then, of course, after the break, we'll talk to him about his baby, his pet project, the thing that I came to know and ultimately love about Craig Sherry, which is Texas pepper jelly. If you've never had it, you're in for a treat. You get to learn all about it tonight, and then you're going to be able to take advantage for the next couple days of exceptional savings, 15% off on Texas pepper jelly on all orders, and you're going to be able to take advantage of that. If you're using the keyword, that would be REMPE, R-E-M-P-E, that's M as in Michael, P as in Peter, R-E-M-P-E, at checkout on the Texas Pepper Jelly website, and that address is texaspepperjelly.com. Go ahead and order my personal favorites. One of my personal favorites is the pineapple habanero. It is widely rumored that might be the finishing ingredient in my own homemade barbecue sauce, a thing that gives a little zing, a little back-of-the-mouth Heat Jones. So definitely take a look at it and see what you think. But it's great on a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Ice cream. I know some people put on ice cream. You can put it over cream cheese and put it on a Ritz cracker. It's great stuff. And it's really one of those things where you have to order multiple jars in multiple flavors to really see which one you like best. And then you have to consider the fact that a lot of these things are going to be good on a host of different applications. A lot of people like to use them as rib glazes at the very end. So we'll get a lot of insight from Craig Sherry coming up here over the next couple segments. And nobody lined up for fourth segment. Might be just an hour tonight, which is fine with me. Got an early day tomorrow. Or we just might carry over a little bit just to make sure that we're blowing out the prize closet this week. And we will set up for next week as well. 877-448-0433. Craig Sherry coming up here out of the break and for the next two segments. And, well, all that plus your phone calls and emails. If you guys want to jump in, always happy to have you guys. Quick reminder, if I may, of my good friend Stephen DeFranco of Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Nothing is worse than taking a walk for your grand championship trophy at a barbecue competition and not having a styling timepiece on your wrist. And Steve is a certifiable and self-admitted watchaholic. He's got Bulova, he's got the Citizens. He's got a great brand that's actually based out of here in Cleveland, just on the west side. We don't talk to West Siders here on the east side, but his name is Phillip & Company. These watches starting at $800. Pieces of art on your wrist, forget about it. You got to check them out. You get the secret Barbecue Brother and Barbecue Sister discount if you go to the BCRN homepage and click on the Stephen DeFranco Jewelers banner. Call in for your best pricing. Call in to let me know how Stephen hooked you up. I would certainly appreciate it. We're going to come back with Craig Sherry talking about the Houston Rodeo Barbecue Championship. It's Rempy and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class dates, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. It's 47, I wish. 13 past the hour, this portion of the show, brought to you by the good folks over at the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic... Hold on a second here. Makers of automatic pit temperature control devices, not to mention a host of other products that make your barbecue and grilling life easier. 2 ways to find them on the internet, thebbqguru.com. You can also dial them toll-free. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. It's the good folks over at the Barbecue Guru. All right. Joining me now, somebody that I have been chasing literally for years, longer than Bobby Flay, so we'll race to the hotline without any further ado, as they say, and bring up good friend Craig Sherry joining us here on the Barbecue Central Show. Craig, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. How are you doing this evening?
Doing excellent, Craig, and certainly appreciate you making time for the show. Seems like I have actually been chasing you for an interview, it seems like, for like the last 5 or 6 years, so I'm certainly glad that we could come together finally, hopefully one of what will end up being many conversations here down the road. So, Craig, before we get into what happened a couple weeks ago, and then obviously next segment with your business in Texas Pepper Jelly, for the people who might not know about you, how about a little bit of background about yourself and how you got in this whole barbecue deal?
Wow, let's just jump right off in here. Has it really been 5 or 6 years that you've been chasing me?
I did remember when I was doing the show, but it was all like pre-recorded stuff. I did one with Bill Cannon. Yeah, I did one.
It has been that long.
Oh, yeah, I did one with Bill Cannon and was trying to turn you ever since then. And, time gets away from us, buddy.
It really does. I guess what it really boils down to is I've been awful busy since then, because I certainly have not been avoiding you. And I'm sorry it took us so long to get together. But to answer your question, that's about the time I started. It was about 6 years ago. You mentioned Bill Cannon with Texas Barbecue Rub. Bill's been kind of a mentor to me. He got me interested in 2 things about the same time. One was Texas Pepper Jelly, the other was barbecue. And I jumped off with both feet. I was addicted from the very first contest I ever went to. The jelly just kind of fell in as a natural. I felt like it offered me a way to get to know some of the cooks by having a product that I thought could enhance their final product, is what it boiled down to. If I would have had any idea how big it was going to grow, what all has happened in the last 5 or 6 years, honestly, it would have scared me to death.
Craig,
I can tell you, huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's been a blast. The people that I have met in this sport have been fantastic. Fellow cooks, people who come out to visit, customers. It's really been unreal, and I owe it all to all my success, all my fortunes. I really owe to just a strong support network with local friends and family.
Craig, when you started, was it pepper jelly first? Is that something you kind of hobbied around with, or was it the introduction into competition barbecue that spurred Texas Pepper Jelly on?
Well, it's really, looking back, it's almost kind of fuzzy. They were one hand in hand. I had an interest in barbecue, and I'd been to a comp or two. I was actually doing a live demonstration with Cannon. Bill and I were supposed to do some grilling demos for the public. Got rained out, and we ended up in this exposition hall just walking around tasting rubs and spices. And there was somebody in there making jelly, and we tasted it, and it was okay. But I remember walking out there that day and Bill going, man, that stuff would be dynamite on ribs if it was any good. And I'm like, well, I can make it. It's not complicated. Why don't we make some up and try it on ribs and see how it goes? And it was just like a natural from day one. Our first flavor is still our most popular flavor, and that's pineapple. And as some people say, it tastes maybe like a luau, but I have yet to find anybody that doesn't care for pineapple on pork.
Well, I guess I'm not going to be breaking the curve when I tell you that pineapple habanero is certainly one of my favorites out of all the products that you offer. But if I can if we can steer away from the products at this point, because we'll get to that a little bit more next segment. But when you look at competition barbecue, you see, especially since you've been in it more or less last 4 or 5 years, it seemed to have grown, and it grows each and every year. And popularity has become more and more prevalent. You're seeing it on cable television now more and more. You're seeing it on the food networks even more. When you are out competing, how many are you looking to do? Has it grown over the last 3 or 4 years? Did you start out doing a small amount, and are you growing each year into the number of events that you're doing?
Well, actually, it did. It started out very small. I think I got in on the very beginning of what we started to see on TV. It seems like 5 or 6 years ago, the cooking shows seemed to be emerald everywhere. You'd hear a little bit about Bobby Flay, this person, that person, and of course, we've seen what's transgressed over the last 2 or 3 years with the barbecue pit masters and more contests being shown on the Food Channel. All of that has really been an impact, I think, on the country as a whole, on cookers as a whole. And by starting at the beginning of this, I've seen the natural progression. I can remember some of the first cook-offs and telling my friends and family I'm going to a barbecue cook-off. They just look at you like, what are you talking about? Now you tell somebody you're going to a cook-off, and it's like, wow, are you on TV yet? Or why not? How come you're not on TV? Are you not any good? I mean, it's hilarious, some of the things that you hear. When I first started, I had a big year. I think my first year I did 6 or 7 cook-offs. Now I'm probably, last year I did 28.
Wow.
And that's probably where I'm going to plateau out. And the reason simply is, job requirements and everything else. It's just hard to get the time off and travel.
Craig Sherry.
I hope to hold that number, but you know how it goes.
Yeah, Craig Sherry joining us. He is the CEO, the creator of Texas Pepper Jelly. And Craig, the main reason that I wanted to talk to you tonight, at least in this segment, is about that Houston Livestock and World Championship Rodeo. And plus, there's that huge barbecue competition that takes place within it, as you are well aware. For the people that have never heard about it or really know too much about this particular event, kind of set the stage, if you can, visually for us. What's the event about, and how does the barbecue event tie into that whole item?
Well, I don't mind educating you at all. That's one thing, being from Texas, we're proud of our state, and you've probably seen it. I know your audience has seen it. It's a big place. We have big hearts. We love to brag about what we do. And the Houston Rodeo is actually one of the shining crowns in the state of Texas, in Houston as well. The rodeo itself actually started back in the late 30s. We come along with our first entertainer in 1942. Many of the old-timers out there can remember Gene Autry. Since then, the rodeo has brought in over 350 entertainers over the years, big names like Elvis Presley and bands and groups. And this has just been a big shot in the arm for our economy. This year alone, they're talking about in aggregate gross sales for our region, for the Houston region, we will have increased sales of $475 million in our area. So this thing is huge. I wished I knew a little bit more about the cook-off when it started. It started somewhere in the late 60s or early 70s, to the best of my recollection. You had the trail riders who come in from all over the state to participate in the Houston Rodeo, which still goes on today. We have several big, massive trail rides. And for those, it's a group of cowboys that will start in one of the cities and travel the old cow trails all the way from down in the valley and across the state into Houston for this big rodeo event. The cook-off is actually the precursor. Before the rodeo kicks off for 20 or 21 days, they got together and they decided to cook some barbecue and see who was going to actually be the best barbecue cook. And it just grew from there. Since the late 60s or early 70s, it has grown to a 3-day event that I would say this year was over 400 teams. It's one of the biggest parties in Texas. This year, in the 3-day period, we had over 223,000 people come through that event. And that's just to kind of set the stage to tell you how big it is. Now, is it the world's champion? championship barbecue contest that they bill it to be. I can buy into it to a degree, but, what is a world championship? It's definitely huge. It's definitely big. Is it on the par with the Royal? In its own way, possibly. The Jack, no, not so much in my opinion. It's a great cook-off, but the Jack represents the best of the best, and the Houston Rodeo is just another big cook-off. I honestly have no idea. I've heard Memphis in May. I've never attended. Is a large contest. I don't know how it stacks up in number of participants, but at 400 plus teams, I feel pretty confident saying that the Houston Rodeo is the third or second largest barbecue cook-off in the United States.
Is that a sanctioned event by, any particular, like an IBCA or a KCBS? Or well, it's not KCBS, but is there another sanctioning body that takes control of that? How does that work out?
Actually, no. It's kind of, we've laughed about it over the years, and it's tongue-in-cheek, I guess. It is run by the Texas Good Old Boy Network, and I don't mean that in a derogatory fashion. It is run by the Houston Livestock Show Committee. They set the rules down years ago, and it's, as far as I know, been run the same way for many, many years. It works for them for the number of contestants that they have. Not being sanctioned, I've always wondered in the back of my mind how a winner to this contest got to become an automatic to the Jack. And best I can put that story together, it was one of those deals. It was settled over dinner one night. Hey, we got a big cook-off here. Why don't you let our winners come up there and participate? And somebody said, well, hey, that's a good idea. And that's about the most of the story I can figure out.
You're a seasoned competitor, Craig. You've done, a number of sanctioning bodies. How does what you're preparing for the Texas Rodeo barbecue competition differ, or how does it differ from like a KCBS or an IBCA?
Well, the big difference, the judging, I think, is identical to most of the Texas events. As far as they have their judges, celebrity judges, guest judges that they bring in. They're not certified by any means. But it's basically what their opinion is of barbecue. The event itself mirrors the rules to the extent we don't use garnish in a tray. The meat's cooked, prepared, do whatever you want to, turn it in, but once it goes in the tray, you really can't do anything to it as far as seasoning. The odd twist to this event is you only get to turn in one meat, and it is your selection. The head cook from each team can decide if they want to turn in chicken, spare ribs, or brisket. And those numbers will fluctuate from year to year. This year's numbers, there were probably 120 briskets turned in, 100 chickens, and around 180 racks of ribs, 180 teams chose ribs. And like I said, that will vary from year to year. The judging process, with that number of teams, the times are staggered so that they can get everybody in and get everybody judged fairly. The way the food is handled from the time it goes into the turn-in tray to the judging area is kind of a throwback to earlier times. They actually have contest supervisors that come around and they do inspect your meat to make sure that it is not pre-seasoned or pre-cooked or anything like that. And they actually have a metal tag and they tag the meat. And when it's time to turn in, your turn-in time, they'll come back around, they'll inspect the tag to make sure it hasn't been altered. It's the same tag you started out with. And they will watch you slice your meat, prepare your tray, and then they will seal the tray shut with tape. It's an elaborate process, and that's supposed to protect any changes or anything happening between your area and the turn-in area. And then you turn in, and basically it's a waiting game. And what you're waiting for and hoping for is to make the final round. Because what they do is they take the best scores from each meet, and they only pull the top 8 teams to the final round. So whatever the magical number is, it doesn't matter if there's 100 rib turn-ins or 200 rib turn-ins. they're only going to take the top 8. So they pull the top 8 from each category, and they come around and notify you that you're a finalist. At this point, they bring a new turn-in tray, and you now turn in a second sample of what you cooked. And this is where a little thought process has to go in.
Yeah.
You're allowed to tag 2 pieces of meat. In my case, I tag 2 briskets. But you stagger the cooking time if you're smart, because you would like to have a fresh product to turn in should you make the finals.
Right.
And that's what you shoot for, is to make that final round. Then it goes back in, and it's judged again and scored, and it's strictly a numbers game. The higher scoring product in each category, they're going to call out first, second, third, and then the highest scoring product overall is going to be announced your grand champion.
And that just happened to be you.
This year, I got lucky.
And you did it on brisket.
That was odd. This is only the 3rd time I've ever been able to cook this event. And the reason is it's twofold. One, the entry fee, the space fee that you have to pay for is $1,500 for a space.
What?
Yes, sir. $1,500 for a space.
That's a lot.
The bad news to that is there's an 8 to 10 year waiting list for a space. So a person like myself cannot just go in there and say, I'm going to cook the Houston Rodeo.
Wow.
I can find a team that has an existing space and hire on as their head cook or whatever you want to call it, if you can find somebody. That's how a lot of guys get in. Or I kind of got in a very unique way, and that was I went out and won another contest that has an agreement with Houston to provide a free space to their grand champion. And that event is called the San Antonio Rodeo, which is patterned after the Houston Rodeo. Not quite as big, but it's growing by leaps and bounds. And I was privileged enough to win the San Antonio Rodeo grand champion, which entitled me to a space this year to cook in Houston. So I was there, I guess, on a guest pass, which made it even sweeter. I was out there competing against teams that have been out there 18, 20 years and have never made the finals. And for my 3rd time to be out there to make the finals, I am just truly, truly blessed.
What's your take for grand champion?
Money-wise?
Yeah. What's the price?
Oh, absolutely zero. This is strictly prestige.
Oh, so you get to pay $1,500 to get nothing.
No, sir, you get bragging rights.
Hell yeah.
Texas, my friend, that is everything.
Now
that is everything. I think any cooker can appreciate that. You go out to any event and you kick butt over 400 teams. That's as good as a paycheck in my book.
And it would take another team dropping out, actually deciding not to join or to attend the Houston Rodeo for one spot to potentially open up.
Typically, yes. This year I was told that they opened up 30 new spaces, and I'm not sure how they selected the teams to do it. But now, keep in mind, the teams that have these spaces, for the most part, are corporations and businesses in and around the Houston, Texas area. And these booths, actually the competition is a small part of it. For 3 days, these booths sell tickets and feed hundreds, if not thousands of people. Mm-hmm. It's a way for them to entertain their clients, their guests, their friends. It can be said, without a doubt, this is the biggest party in Texas.
Craig Sherry joining us. He is the most recent winner of the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Barbecue Cook-Off. Craig, if you don't mind, we're going to go ahead and step away real quick for about 3 minutes, and we'll come back, tie this portion up, and then talk about Texas pepper jelly, if that's all right with you.
Not a problem.
All right, go ahead and grab a cold drink and hang back. We'll come right back with Craig Sherry. Holy moly, 1,500 bones, and he can say that he is the best cook in Texas right now, over 400-plus teams. I think that's maybe just 100 shy of that American Royal Open, which is a huge contest as well. We're going to step away. We'll come back more with Craig Sherry talking about Texas pepper jelly, tie up the Houston Rodeo talk, your phone calls and emails if you want, 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show.
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back, 37 past the hour. This portion of the show brought to you by Yoder Smoky Mountain Barbecue. You know who they are. They make those grills and cookers in the Amish country of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, helping you enjoy easy and profitable barbecues for years to come. You can find them on the internet at Serious BBQs. That's plural, SeriousBBQs.com. Opt in for some great barbecue tips and techniques, and their website also, they have a complete line of rubs and sauces as well. It's the good folks over at Yoder's Smoky Mountain Barbecue, SeriousBBQs.com. It's the website. All right, we're going to pick our conversation back up with Craig Sherry, most recent winner of the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Barbecue Competition. Craig, thanks for hanging with me through the break there. And, you've absolutely fascinated with me on how this whole Houston Rodeo Barbecue Competition actually breaks down. And I'm definitely going to put it in my book so we can actually talk about it prior to the event next year, just to get everybody re-educated, because the instant message stuff is just going crazy. Craig, I don't usually do this, but you want to take a call?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. I apologize in advance if this goes crazy, but I can hang up very fast as well. Hold on one second. Let's see how this works out. Area code 412. You're on with Craig Sherry of Texas Pepper Jelly. Go ahead.
There is absolutely fascinating.
Craig. People listen to the show while they're calling in on the show. It never works out well for them. That's all I know. All right. So Texas Pepper Jelly is something else that you're into a little bit, from what I understand. And you gave us a little bit of an insight on how it actually, or how the idea was generated when you and Bill were eating some pepper jelly you thought would taste good if it didn't suck so bad. And then, is that the point where you decided to just take it and run with it and make it a product that people would want?
Well, it's the entrepreneur in me, I believe. I think all of us that work for people, or a lot of us, we're always looking for something that we could do on our own, and I was no exception, and still I'm not. What's better in America than maybe to be your own boss and be a success?
Right.
Hanging out with Bill Cannon at Texas Barbecue Rub and seeing the success he was having with Rub, I was thinking in the back of my mind it'd be really cool to have something like this. And when we had tasted the jelly that day, and he made the comment it would taste good on ribs, I come home and did a little homework and started checking around, and there really wasn't a lot. There are some independents that were still out there now that were there then, but they didn't cater to a specific need. And I had a goal in mind. Let's make something that's good and feel good on barbecue. So that was kind of what started it. Bill, being pretty good in the rub business already, was a godsend as far as information, the do's and don'ts that you want to do, how to market, first one thing or another. But he was also a huge, huge source of encouragement. Never said that I couldn't do anything. That would have been my wife when I come home the first day and said, "Hey, I think we ought to sell jelly on the internet." And she was like, "Are you insane?" And obviously I must have been, because that was roughly 6 years ago, and here we are. We're getting bigger every year. Things are going well enough that this could actually, I could see my dream come true and it'd be a full-time job. We went from 1 or 2 flavors to probably 18 different flavors, along with the new product that we came out with late last year that we dubbed Rib Candy. And life is good. It's not so good because we both work full-time jobs. Then we come home and we have to make jelly or rib candy, and then we have to pack up and ship and get up and start it all again the next day. But it has its rewards.
Now, when you started, I'm imagining you were either rented a commercial kitchen, you had access to a commercial kitchen to make the jellies. Is it something now that, as you've built success over the last 5-6 years, that you've started to farm out, or do you still have ultimate control over what's going in those jars?
Right now, I have ultimate control. We contract out with a couple of different commercial kitchens so that we can make our product ourselves. We've never had really an employee, unless you count me drafting my mom to come in and help a time or two at Christmas when it was real busy. I tried to put Bill to work one time making jelly, and that didn't last very long. So we pretty much do it all ourselves. We pride ourselves in the fact that we still make small batches, and that we can control the recipe with the premium products that we use. I'm not saying that one day we may not farm it out if we get big enough, but it's something that is really not on the radar right now. I know we catch a lot of flack from some of our customers. How come you're not in the grocery stores? How come you're not here? How come you're not there? And bottom line is, as you know, with the people who do rubs and sauces, you've heard probably a lot of the stories that things go good, they get bigger, they lose some control over the product. And I am just not ready to do that yet.
Yeah, I guess that was going to be my next question. We're talking with Craig Sherry from Texas Pepper Jelly. Is, when you get to that point, is it going to be a tough jump off for you to where you've had control for this pretty much ever since you've gotten into this whole deal, to turning it over to somebody else who, I mean, I have huge trust issues myself, and that's just a personal Dr. Phil issue, but to just turn it over to somebody and say, man, you're going to have the same interest in me, you're going to have the same love and passion and enthusiasm to make it the same way every time with quality products and make it taste the same way every time, that has to be a really big weight on your mind.
It really is. The truth is, it probably wouldn't hurt my feelings if Smuckers called me tomorrow and offered me millions to buy me out.
Yeah, right.
Then I wouldn't have to worry about it, other than leaving all the customers in the lurch. But no, actually, it's not something that I've concerned myself with. There's enough people out there, as we grow, if we have to farm this out, that if you want to pay a premium, you can still have control over your product with premium products. I think it takes assertiveness, steadfastness. You just got to stay the course and hold your head up and do what you think's best for your product. That's why I have the control that I have. I sell the way I sell because I want to keep that quality up. I want to keep the customer service to the level. If any of your listeners out there have ever ordered from us and had a problem with us, they know that we've taken care of it. And usually that problem is only in shipping because of damage and things like that. I've never asked a customer to return anything to prove that it was broken. I've replaced whatever that they say that they're short or missing, and that has proved to be a benefit over time.
Craig Sherry is my guest. Craig, the thing that took me the longest to order and was the fact that I just wanted to have like one, and shipping didn't seem to make sense to me. For whatever the cost of one jar was, the shipping was roughly the same, maybe a little bit less. That I was like, I just can't seem to bring myself to want to do it. But finally, I did, and then realized that if you order more than one, shipping becomes a lot less of an issue because you're kind of adding to the same package. For the people that might look at the shipping cost and say, "Holy crap! I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on this. What can you say to kind of ease their mind and help them push that trigger?
Well, I tell you what, I was really hoping that you wouldn't push any of my buttons tonight, and that's just a sore subject. and not because you asked the question, but because it's something we have fought over the years. People feel the same way that you do. They couldn't bring themselves to pull the trigger. We've always gotten past that just about with every customer once they taste the product.
Right.
Once they taste it and they're like, wow, why did I put this off so long? That's a positive experience versus the guy who calls up and says, I would have ordered from you, but your freight was too high, and I can go down to the local store and get the same thing a lot cheaper. My answer to that is, guys, you can't get the same thing. My product is that good. That's just the way it is. It's a good product. The other problem that we have, and part of the reason the cost is so high on shipping, is glass. We pack everything in glass, and everything that ships is weight-oriented. And you start adding jars, the weight of the product is very dense and very heavy. You start adding that all together, and the freight costs go up. And it's, unfortunately, for the guys that live in California or Connecticut, the shipping is even worse because of the distance than the guys that live in the Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana area pay. But, freight is what it is. I have no control over it. Mm-hmm. It's funny, if I can real quick, when gas was $1.75 a gallon.
When was that?
Well, it's been a few years.
Yeah,
but
right.
When a couple of years ago, when it fell down to $1.80, $1.90, people would jump in their cars, and they didn't have any problem driving across town to pick up a product. Now the gas is closing in on $4 and could go higher. The thing that you have to ask yourself is, shipping really that expensive? Your time is worth something. Definitely everybody's time is worth something. And if you factor your time in with the shipping cost, it's a no-brainer anymore. Have it delivered to your door.
Absolutely. Craig Sherry joining me. And again, I mentioned that only because I was the idiot that put it off so long until I actually tried it. And then it was, just as Craig said, you can't go to your local novelty store or your La Gourmet or wherever the hell you think you're going to buy it and save money and have it be anywhere near as good, because the bottom line is that it won't. And I don't make the Texas pepper jelly, but I'll stake my reputation on the fact that if you buy a jar and you don't absolutely freaking love it, I'll give you your money back, and it's not even my company. It's just that good. And as Craig said, you're not going to be able to get it anywhere else, anywhere near as good. And I'm definitely going to be the guy that's going to vouch on that, because I made that mistake for so long. And, it's one of those secret ingredients in my sauce. Craig, how many different ways can you use Texas pepper jelly?
I tell you what, I'm amazed. Just the different ways you can use it and the different flavor combinations. It really staggers the mind. I have no problem telling people that one of my favorites is a flavor we call Texas Tropical, and it's a mixture of different fruits, and it's just fantastic on ribs. I've glazed straight out of the jar. I've mixed it with a barbecue sauce. I give out sauce recipes because it's really hard to duplicate exactly what I do. I know cookers are sometimes pretty paranoid when it comes to their recipes, and in some cases, rightfully they should. But if someone were to walk in your trailer or where you're cooking on your pit and saw a couple of my jars sitting there, just 2 jars, and asked you how you used it, and you told them, first off, let's face it, most of us would think you're lying to us. What cook gives his real secrets. Second, if you did, they're not going to duplicate it for the express reason I can't find anybody that can measure out a teaspoon the same way twice.
Right.
And, it doesn't take but a little bit more or a little bit less to alter the flavor drastically.
Craig Sherry joining us from Texas Pepper Jelly. So, Craig, helping people to get some orders in, you've gone ahead and introduced a little discount for the Centralites. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
Yeah, actually I did. Yeah, for those that get our newsletter, several years ago we offered a lot of discounts and trying to promote sales, and it's something that we've really kind of cut out over the last couple of years. We'll do it around the holidays and at different things, and when Greg approached me about this show, I wanted to be able to offer the listeners something, if nothing else, for listening to me drone on for 30 minutes, a discount on our product. And we set one up today. It's good for the next couple of weeks. It'll run through the 15th. That's not really a couple of weeks, but we'll extend it. I've never turned anybody away that missed a discount. You can order any of our products and receive 15% off. All you've got to do is type in a code word into the coupon box on our View Cart page. And trying to rack up something unique for this code, I couldn't think of anything better than to use our host name. So all you have to do is type REMPE, REMPE, into that coupon code box, and you'll save 15% on your next order.
Yeah, just like that, 15%, and good at least for the next week plus. Craig, look, people don't have to entertain the discounts or anything like that, but the fact that you've stepped up, I certainly appreciate it. And to be quite honest, I appreciate all the conversation that we've had here over the past couple segments. And this will be hopefully the first of many to come. Looking forward to our next visit. Thanks for coming on tonight.
I look forward to it. And if I may, our email address is on our website. It comes to me. My phone number, personal phone number, is on the website. If any of our viewers or your listeners, I'm not even on television, I've got big dreams, I see. If any of your listeners would like to send an email or phone call, leave a message. I will return calls. I will answer emails, and I will help any way I can answer questions. My door's open. Feel free.
All right, Craig, I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Greg.
Take care.
Have a good evening.
There he is, Craig Sherry. Going deep for me on those interviews. I mean, as soon as I started hearing about the Houston Rodeo and what that thing was all about, my mind was spinning, trying to figure out how I was going to be able to get him out in 2 segments, because I asked him to commit to 2, and he did. And I'm certainly I'm a sales guy at heart. I'm not going to sit there and say 20 minutes and then stay in 2 hours. So I appreciate that. Look, the knowledge is vast on Craig's side. I mean, we could do a whole bunch of different segments as far as starting a business and marketing, all this good stuff that he has no idea what he's in for, because he came off so well. And the feedback from the instant chat is going very well in his favor as well. So, again, the discount, go to Texas Pepper Jelly, TexasPepperJelly.com. Place your order, and then go ahead and drop in my last name, REMPE, M as in Michael, P as in Peter, REMPE. You'll get 15% off, and I will link that up in the show notes as well. We'll step away, and we'll wrap it up right after this. Stick around. We will be right back. It's Rampy and You right here on the Barbecue Central Show.
Forget going from site to site to get all of your barbecue and grilling supplies, and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and egg accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred's also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber, as well as a full line of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. And you can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichlin of Barbecue U fame. Check out Fred on the web at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com, or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Introducing Kosmos Q. Kosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Kosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Kosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
You can find us at cosmosq.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Right, 2 minutes till the top of the hour. It's the Barbecue Central Radio Show. This portion brought to you by Fred's Music and Barbecue. Trusted online source for pretty much anything you need. If you need grills, you need smokers, you need cookbooks, wood chips, planks, big green eggs, you name it, he's got it. And again, a trusted online retailer. He's not going to take your stuff and stiff you. He's also got the brick and mortar thing in beautiful downtown Shillington, Pennsylvania. Fred's Music and BBQ.com. That's Fred Music and BBQ.com. Hey, let's play a little four-segment free-for-all, why don't we? Hey, everybody, Harry Carey. Oh. Okay, I see I've got a new microphone. Looks like we've got a new cord installed here. Rumor has it there was trouble with the microphone. I can't have trouble with the microphone. I can't. Okay, we're going to play the four-segment free-for-all for your chance to win fun and prizes. Fun and prizes. I'm giving away fun, too. Okay, let's not waste any time. Let's go right to the phone. Area code 816, name and where you're calling from.
Joel from Kansas City.
Hey, Joel, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Just great.
Hey, Joel, would you like to play the game?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Joel, you know how to play. You want barbecue questions or do you want sports questions?
Let's go with some barbecue questions.
All right, barbecue questions it is, Joel. Greg was just interviewing Craig Sheriff from Texas Pepper Jelly last two segments. And he won a huge, huge barbecue competition in Texas 2 weeks ago. Name it.
The Houston Rodeo.
That's right. It's funny. I wonder if they were barbecuing bulls. What do you know, Joel? Were they barbecuing bulls?
Well, that would have been interesting, that's for sure.
Well, that's right. Okay, Joel,
so.
You're 1 for 1.
I hope they had to,
Go ahead, Joel.
I was going to say, I hope they had to get them and haul them in and themselves and do it all.
Joel, you don't know how to get to a joke very quick. Okay, second question. Here we go, Joel. Name the most popular selling charcoal grill in the world.
The charcoal grill, you said, would be Weber.
That's right, Weber it is. Okay, 2 for 2. Joel, you answer one more question, you get free prizes. Joel, are you excited?
Oh, you know I am.
I know you are too, Joel. All right, here we go. No pressure. Everybody's watching. Joel, Craig Sherry owns what company?
That would be Texas Pepper Jelly.
That's right. You're a winner, Joel. Sure, it feels fine to be in your shoes right now, Joel. You have a host of prizes to choose from. You have the all-inclusive sampler pack from Kosmo's Q. You have Frog Match. You have oak-infused wine products from Greenleaf Barbecue. You have wild game rub. What would you like?
Let's do the Frog Mat.
All right, Frog Mats it is. Joel, I would imagine you do have an offset-style cooker.
Yeah, I sure do.
All right, all you need to do is send Greg the measurements of the grate, and the good guys down at Frog Mats will cut it directly to size. Send me your shipping info. We'll get it right out to you.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks for calling in tonight, Joel.
Thank you.
Beat it. All right, 877-448-0433 for your chance to win. We have an all-inclusive Kosmo's Q prize pack. But no more Frog Mats, but we have El Capitan barbecue seasoning. We have oak-infused wine wood. We have oak-infused wine wood from the winewood trees of South Texas. Yes, sometimes late at night in a stupor, you might find me sucking on the winewood trees. All right, area code 412, name and where you're calling from.
This is Vince from Baldwin, Pennsylvania.
Vince, how are you, Vince?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Real good.
All right, Vince, would you like to play the game?
Sure.
All right, would you like barbecue questions or not barbecue questions, which would be sports questions?
Barbecue question.
Barbecue questions it is. Here we go. You said your name was Vince, right?
Yep.
All right, Vince, here we go. First question. There was a man that Greg was interviewing for the last 2 segments on the show. Name the company that he owns.
Texas Pepper Jelly.
Texas Pepper Jelly it is. Within the conversation, Vince, Craig Sherry, owner of Texas Pepper Jelly, alluded to the most popular flavor of Texas Pepper Jelly. What is it?
Rib candy?
No, I'm sorry, Vince. It's not rib candy. Perhaps, Vince, you should know the most popular Texas Pepper Jelly flavor if you're going to call into the 4th segment free-for-all. Just a word to the wise, Vince. No, by the way, I don't suck on wine trees. There's no such thing as wine trees. I was just playing a joke on all of you. Sorry, Vince. Thanks for calling in anyway. A good try. 877-448-0433 is the number to call. You can win prizes. Lots of prizes still to go. You have sports questions to choose from as well. That's right, Smoking Rider. Could ask you all crazy sports questions. Perhaps you didn't know my name's Harry Carey. I used to be a sports broadcaster for the Chicago Cubs. That's right. All right. Well, it seems that not a lot. Perhaps I've scared some people away with my quick trigger finger. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. And then get down there. I'm trying to rearrange my schedule. And then, hold on a second. Area code 269. This is Harry Carey. Who's this?
This is Jay.
Hey, Jay, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, Jay. How are you?
Doing good.
Jay, would you like to play the game?
Yes, I would.
The sports questions or barbecue questions?
Barbecue.
The barbecue it is, Jay. First question. 2 segments ago, Greg Rempe was interviewing Craig Sherry from Texas Pepper Jelly. And he said that there was one particular flavor of his jelly that is most popular. Can you name it?
Pineapple.
Pineapple it is. Your earphones were on correctly, Jay. Second question. Jay, name the most popular charcoal grill in the world.
Weber.
Weber it is. You're 2 for 2, just like Andre Dawson was in the World Series of 1978. That was a great series, wasn't it, Jay?
Yes, it was.
That's right. Okay, Jay, third question for you to win a prize. Jay, are you excited?
Yes, I am.
I know I am. All right, Jay, here's the third question for your chance to win a prize. On a grill, there is the heat source. There is something that you put your meat on. What is the name of that item that you put your meat on above the heat source?
The grate.
That's right. By the way, that answer was great, pun intended. Okay. Jay, you get to win a prize. Do you have one in mind?
Not sure.
We have the all-inclusive Kosmo's Q prize pack, which gets you the beef and pork injections, also the chicken and pork soak. Hold on a second. I'm not ready to get off the air yet, damn it. I run this show. Damn boards. You have the chicken and pork soak. You also have El Capitan Santa Maria-style barbecue seasoning. You have oak-infused wine products from Greenleaf Barbecue. You also have wild game rub from the good folks at bbqhooks.com. What would you like?
I'll take the Kosmos Q.
A Kosmo's Q it is. And all you need to do is send me your shipping info, Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. We'll get you hooked up, Jay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks for calling in. That's Jay. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay. That's going to do it for me. We'll see you next Tuesday, guys. All right. There he goes. Harry Carey out of here. Looks like we had a couple winners. We've extended out the hour just a little bit. Hey, Harry Carey getting some love on the instant message. Love that. What happened to my camera? Anyway, we're coming back. I want to thank my second and third segment guest. That was Craig Sherry from Texas Pepper Jelly talking about the Houston Rodeo Livestock Barbecue Competition. Won it. He won it. You can take advantage of a 15% off your order in Texas Pepper Jelly right now, at least for the next week, potentially longer, depending on those people that get this via podcast. You have to enter in my last name in order to take advantage of the savings. R-E, M as in Michael, P as in Peter. E. R-E, M as in Michael, P as in Peter, R-E-M-P-E, and you will get that prize. That prize of 15% off your order. Order multiple jars, multiple flavors, and see how you're going to use it. It's going to be great. Thank you, Smokin' Ronnie. See how I ducked the sound on that? You didn't hear me sneeze over the air, but I just told you I did. Next week, big show lined up. Big show. So stay tuned for that. No second hour tonight, much to the dismay of Centralites all across the nation. Bigger things taking precedent, folks. That's all I can say. But we will be back for 2 hours starting next week again. Don't forget, 15% TexasPepperJelly.com. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and a proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.